to this week's edition of The Wedding Planner, live from Studio Bushfire in Felixstowe. I've been invited here by Dibs Middleditch, who, along with her husband Carl, owns Studio Bushfire. So we're going to have a look at some of the weddings that they've done in the past, but also we're going to talk about some of the other things, the other products that you can get at Studio Bushfire. We're actually live, and in the next room in the studio there is a family shoot going on, so you may hear a little bit of background noise, but it's all part of one of the things that they do at Studio Bushfire, photographing generations. So anyway, hello Dibs.
Hello.
Nice for you to allow us into your studio
Pleasure.
today. You can see in the background, I think, that we've got loads of different photographs of the weddings that you've taken in the past. So we're going to look at those and show the viewers different angles of things that you've taken. So first of all, let's ask you why you got into photography and how you got into photography.
Well, it wasn't something that I thought initially that I would be interested in, but Carl was already doing weddings and had started up the business doing weddings, and he asked me for some help one day at a wedding, and to be honest I was just the assistant. I was the person carrying the bags and all the other bits and pieces that go with taking photos at weddings, and then after a few weddings he handed me a camera and said, knock yourself out and see how it goes and take a few pictures, and I didn't really know where to start, but he loved the photos that I was taking, and then progressed from there, and ended up being his partner in the business, and it got to the point where he needed a bit more organisation on his part to progress the business a bit more, so that's where I came in. So not only do I do the admin, but I'm the second photographer, and on occasions do my own weddings as well.
Right, okay. When did Studio Bushfire that we see in Hamilton Road start? When did you establish this?
That was 2010.
Right.
But the weddings had been a very stable part of the business since 2002.
Fantastic.
So it's been going a little while now.
Yeah, that's really good. So, and you have assistants as well to help you, don't you? You have Zoe as part of your team.
And Joe.
Yeah, so that's really lovely.
Yeah.
In the background now, we're just focusing on the Dorchester. I mean, obviously you're based in Felixstowe, you have a lot of Suffolk-based weddings, which we'll talk about. But just recently you've been asked to go to places like London, obviously with the Dorchester, and this year I think you're going to Kew Gardens.
Yes, we are,
That's
we've
phenomenal.
got Kew Church and then afterwards on to Kew Garden. Last year we were asked to go to a very intimate wedding where we were the two guests, Carl and I were the actual guests, and we were asked to be witnesses for the bride and groom, and that was in London. So the bride and groom started off in the Corinthia Hotel, and then we went to Islington Town Hall for the ceremony in a black cab, which was absolutely amazing. It was just really lovely experience. And then we took the couple before their, I'd say, sit down meal, but it was an afternoon tea at the Dorchester. We took the couple into Hyde Park, which was lovely because there was lovely spring flowers, and it was just it was really romantic for them. And they got a lot of attention, obviously, as you can imagine, in London. But that was just a lovely experience, and just being really so close to the couple on the day, obviously, because we were the only people there.
They weren't friends of yours, obviously. They were just customers that
found us
came
on the internet,
and
by personal recommendation, a friend of the bride's we'd covered a wedding of theirs, and we'd been recommended, and they decided to book us and went through the logistics of their day and all the details, and we couldn't wait to photograph because it was something very different from what we normally do.
Yeah, and such an honour to
be
so intimately involved in their wedding.
Definitely.
That's great, that's wonderful. And then you've got the other extreme where you've had like literally hundreds of guests.
Yes, we have.
Weddings.
We've had a wedding where there was 275 to the sit-down meal, and then into the evening it was nearly 400 people. So that's quite the other extreme to the intimate wedding, which is also just as pleasurable to photograph, because you do meet lots of new people and you've got lots of opportunities for pictures.
Is it quite difficult to control sort of masses of people.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes we liken it to chasing cats.
Yeah,
rounding people up and just trying to get them in the right place at the right time. But we manage it, and that's what's the beauty of having two photographers.
Sure,
So,
and also you're so professional now, you've been doing it for several years now, you sort of know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, have a good manner about you. There's a, we're going to stop on this for the female viewer. That was quite a different shot, I think.
Yeah.
So what made you, you and Carl, take such a shot? Why do you go for sort of something that perhaps people wouldn't normally consider as part of a wedding album?
Yeah, it's all what happens in the getting ready aspect of the lead up to the ceremony. So Carl and I are there 2 hours before the bride and groom leave for the ceremony, and it just encompasses all the things that happen in the morning or the afternoon before the wedding, getting ready shots with the groomsmen and the bridesmaids and everything that just goes on around those people. So obviously Carl stays with the groom, and I would stay with the bride.
So it's like a reportage, more or less, of what you see and witness and stuff.
We just document everything that goes on, or try to. Obviously there's some things that you obviously don't take pictures of, and but you have to know when to take pictures and when not to take pictures.
Do you ever get brides and grooms saying, "Oh, I don't really want you to sort of take the photograph of me like this or like that"? And
that's
so you just be
fine.
guided by them.
Yeah, that's fine, and you work with them. So you help them feel comfortable, and you help them feel relaxed, because then you get more relaxed pictures if they know that you're going to be agreeing with or working along with them as well.
For sure. So I just want to stop on this one, because you were talking about that pearl bracelet. That was quite a recent wedding, I believe.
Yeah, I think that was back in November. It was a vintage bracelet, and it was something that the bride really wanted to wear on her wedding day, and it meant a lot to her, because I think it was passed down from her grandmother, I think. But just before she put it on, one of the clasps came undone, and so I had to get out my little bag of tricks, that I call it. I have everything in there to be helpful on the wedding day. It has everything in it, from sewing kit to party feet to hair clips to mints for nervous brides and father of the brides as well. So I got my sewing kit out and quickly whizzed it back together again. And
so it's not just a photographer?
No, I get asked to help with brides' dresses. I wear usually flat shoes and smart trousers to weddings, because I'm usually on the floor helping brides put their shoes on, and helping with dresses and hair pieces, anything that falls out, like hair. And I have hairspray, so I can quickly whiz it back in during the day.
Kind of makes sense, because everybody else is sort of getting ready, mother of the bride and bridesmaids and stuff. So I haven't got time to sort of assist the bride.
That's right. And once the bridesmaids are in their dress, the last thing they want to be doing is getting on the
floor. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm quite happy to oblige, and it's absolutely fine. It's no problem. Wonderful. I just try to be somebody at a wedding that I would have wanted to have had at my wedding.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I can do anything to help make the day run that much smoother, it's my pleasure.
Fantastic. The picture that's just gone by that viewers would see is of a clock striking 12, and you were telling me off screen about that. If you just want to share that.
Yeah, that was a wedding that we did on the 31st of December, so obviously New Year's Eve. The bride and groom wanted to have a wedding that day, because they have a lovely group of friends who really love to have a great celebration, and they decided to have that on that particular day, because they just wanted it to be a lovely long day, because sometimes weddings can go so quickly. They just wanted it to be a lovely long day, so it was a very long day for us. We started at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't get home until, let me think, probably about 1:30 in the morning.
Wow. Was that in Suffolk? Or
yes, it was. Yes, it was at Wantiston Valley, and they had organised buses for their guests, so they didn't feel stranded or anything, so they could all enjoy themselves, have a little drink, and enjoy the new year ringing in the new year, I should say, with their guests as well. So that was a really enjoyable wedding.
So it just shows to bride and grooms out there planning their wedding. Nowadays you can obviously legally get married at any time, day or night. So, you know, someone might consider having a midnight wedding, or just before midnight or something like that. So it's really
why
good.
not?
Yeah, exactly. So you've heard already about intimate weddings, where there's just been like the bride and groom and you and Carl as witnesses. The lavish ones, and also about the midnight wedding. Is there anything else, any more sort of unusual weddings that you've been to?
We've had small groups of weddings. We've had a wedding where there was about 17 people. They didn't have a best man, they didn't have bridesmaids, they didn't have a cake or anything like that. It was just the two of them. She had the most amazing pair of Christian Louboutin shoes.
Had a photograph of them
and
earlier.
She had a lovely, it was very unusual, a black Vivienne Westwood cocktail dress.
Right.
And she just looked stunning. She really did. She was really comfortable in what she was wearing because she was very nervous. Both of them were quite nervous.
Oh,
and they just had their intimate family around, their close family and a couple of friends. And it was just a lovely day. We were only there until they sat down for the wedding breakfast because that's all they wanted.
Yeah.
And we documented as much as we could. These are the shoes that the lady was wearing.
And I believe that since you've had a follow-up, haven't you, about that photograph?
Yes.
Those shoes.
Another pair of shoes.
Yeah.
In another wedding, I put a picture on Instagram of the groom holding the bride because she said to me, "Quick, just grab a picture of the bottom of my shoes because obviously they're red."
Yeah.
And then Louboutin on Instagram contacted me and said, could they use that picture themselves in their images? So I was like, yeah, of course, there's no problem.
That's great,
yeah,
isn't it? Great sort of recommendation for your own
yeah,
photography
definitely,
as well.
yeah.
So, and there's a lovely picture of a cake now, which is called a naked cake.
Yes,
we
it is.
talked about that earlier as well, which is a new style of cake that viewers might consider if you're getting married. Just talk us through some of these. Some of them, as you see, we're flicking through, are black and white and obviously in colour.
Yeah. We like to do a mixed.
So bride and grooms can sort of say to you, we just want black and white, or we just want colour, or otherwise you just go with the flow
we just go with it and just see what lends itself to black and white and what is better to stay in colour.
Okay.
Sometimes lighting conditions can dictate whether the colour stays in colour, or black and white, or whether we want it to have more of a dramatic feel to the picture. But in general, we tend to do as little editing to the pictures as possible, because we like to keep the pure image so that the images don't date. And it just sort of lends itself to just keeping the images as natural as possible.
Does it take a long time to sort of pose a bride like that? You know, I suppose it depends on who you're working with. Some are probably easier than others, but it looks so professional.
Oh, thank you.
And it just makes you wonder how many minutes you sort of spend fanning the dress and getting her arms in a certain position.
Usually it's me that directs the bride and can perhaps see how in your mind's eye how the picture's going to look. And then Carl will take the picture. That was the picture about the shoes. But usually it does take a little while, especially if you're doing night pictures and you have to ask the bride and groom to keep very still because obviously the camera's on a tripod, so we have to have a long exposure with the camera. But we love working outside at night because you can really have some lovely dramatic pictures and just work with light.
And the detail that you show in some of your pictures, I mean, the one of the RAF uniform, just on the lapels.
Yeah, they're little things that the brides and grooms like to remember, and sometimes it can be overlooked. So
I think so, and it's nice because you do forget the little details. Maybe in a bouquet or something, if there's pearls or something, people forget that, and it's lovely to have photographs.
We have
like
had situations where the bride has lost maybe a grandparent and the grandparent has given them something really special and they've attached it to their bouquet, perhaps like a locket or maybe a medal from their grandparents. And so although it's something that is kept close to the bride's heart, it's something that obviously I don't want to overlook because it's special to her and she's made it important enough to include it in her wedding preparation. So I like to do the details of the wedding.
I also wanted to talk about, you've got a book on your viewing table here, which is obviously a wedding that took place, and it's just, I don't know if the viewers can see that, but it's one of the things that people can have done, made up after their wedding, and they choose obviously their favourite photographs that you've taken and made them into a book form. So
these particular albums are all the pictures that we take on the day, and so this is like we call them a coffee table album.
Yeah, because it is like a coffee book.
Yeah,
isn't
exactly. It's a lovely size, and it documents right from the getting ready at the beginning of the day, right through to the end of their pictures.
Fantastic.
So then after that, then they can choose their favourite ones, and we can put them into our really beautiful graphic studio albums that we have. On display
then
here.
A bride and groom can purchase something like this.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the camera can pick that up. It's quite heavy, and there's an even heavier one on the coffee table. These are just a variety of weddings that Carl and Dibs have worked on. But you can see how beautiful they are, and the quality of the book is gorgeous, isn't it? Really lovely.
It has a lifetime guarantee.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Lovely keepsake.
because they come from Italy.
Beautiful.
And they are hand finished, so you can't pick them off the shelf and just get an album and put the images. They are finished by a person, which I think is really lovely. It's got a real nice special touch to it. Sorry, I've got the
lots of bubbles there.
Yeah.
For celebration. One of the other things I wanted to mention, we've worked together before on a photographic shoot called Trash Your Dress, which some brides may have heard of and some may have not. And basically it's if a bride wants to come after her wedding day in her dress and maybe do something a bit more unusual. And there's various stages of this. You can have Cherish the Dress, where the bride will actually wear her dress and be taken to a serene setting, or maybe in studio with serene lighting, whatever, and have a very romantic sort of view of her dress, but away from the crowd, away from her sort of guests. And then there's Rock the Frock, where you might dress her up with some accessory that you probably wouldn't have used.
Yeah, whatever the bride's taste is. Maybe it's 1950s, maybe it's vintage, maybe it's something very modern.
Sure.
Obviously, that we'll take good care of the dress in those two instances and make sure that the dress is as looked after on the wedding day as it ever would be. So
fantastic. And then Trash Your Dress, obviously, where they can go in any scenario. They can go in the water, they can go in mud.
They don't necessarily have to be in their own dresses.
No.
They can get another dress.
This is an example of Rock the Frock, which is where that lady was wearing her groom's suit jacket. So it's something that she probably wouldn't normally wear, but it makes a fantastic photograph.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for brides to know, that you're not just a photographer out there on the wedding day. They can come to you after their wedding
anytime.
In their dress or in another dress and have sort of wedding style photographs taken in any manner.
And we also offer pre-wedding pictures as well. So if people want to come in, they've just got engaged, they're thinking about having some photography at their wedding. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to book us.
Right.
If they just want to get used to being in front of the camera with their other half, that's absolutely fine.
That's
we're
great,
more than welcome to offer engagement sessions to people.
Fantastic.
No obligation.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm just looking at the reception table settings there. That's a lovely angle as well. So we do all sorts of things. Is there any other products that you would offer a bride and groom? We've looked at some of the books, we've looked at the albums. Is there anything else?
With all the packages that we offer, we make sure that all the artwork edited images are supplied on a USB, which is better than a disc, because with the USB, most people have smart TVs now, and then you can just plug the USB into the TV, and you can take it anywhere, so you don't necessarily have to take a big album with you.
It's great.
You can let people see them as soon as, and we usually say to people after they've got married, about 2 weeks after the wedding day, give the studio a call and we can book them in to come and view their pictures.
Fantastic.
So as soon as 2 weeks after the wedding day, they can view them.
That's quite a short space of time, really, because traditionally it used to be a bit longer, didn't it?
That's right. Well, we found that people don't like to wait for them.
No,
They're
exactly.
so excited.
So eager to see what they look like.
It's as much as we possibly can. Sometimes in our busier seasons it may be a little bit longer, but we try to keep it to that anyway, because we appreciate how excited people are.
Yeah, for sure, and they are marvellous photographs, so
thank you.
You know, people will be eager to see them. I was just looking at some of the dresses that the brides are wearing, absolutely gorgeous as well, so that must be
I get very jealous sometimes.
I can imagine an enviable job seeing them in their finery.
Well, I'm a woman, I love weddings, and I'm nosy, so I just have the perfect job, really.
Yeah, exactly, it does seem like the perfect job. So
it doesn't come without its stress though, like any other job.
No, I'm sure, and it is a long day, really.
It is a long day,
beginning to end. But
you're constantly on the go. You don't really have the time to sit down and relax, because you don't want to miss anything.
Sure, yeah. But I did notice when we did the photo shoot together, I was very impressed how you're sort of standing on things and crawling on the floor and trying to get all different angles and things like that. So it's not just a case of pointing a camera and shooting at people or an object.
We try to make every wedding unique to the couple, just like their own wedding is, because no matter how many weddings we've done, we realise that everybody's wedding is a reflection of the two of them as a couple, and so just like that, we try to make their pictures reflect all the effort that they've put into it as well.
And these are sort of unique because they were customised by the bride, weren't
they?
Yes,
they were. She customised them herself. She didn't want to wear heels on the day because she wasn't that kind of person, and so she decided to buy a pair of Converse boots and customise them herself.
She did a really good job at them, didn't she?
She did a fantastic job.
Excellent.
And that's a lovely keepsake as well.
Yeah, for sure. And this is obviously Felixstowe.
Yeah,
with the beach in the background, so keeping it local.
She got ready at the Fludges, which was really lovely.
Beautiful.
Nice and local.
Yeah, and then straight on the beach for some photography.
Yeah, that was really nice. Weather permitting, we were really lucky because the weather was so beautiful that day. It was lovely blue skies.
Absolutely gorgeous. Where was this one taken?
This was at Wanterston Valley.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, this was actually the 31st of
Oh,
December
really?
wedding, and we were really fortunate with the weather, because sometimes even in the summer we get unpredictable weather.
Sure.
But this day was absolutely fantastic. We couldn't have asked for better weather on the day.
You must get drenched sometimes.
I try to stay out of the weather, the wet weather as much as possible, but I have to try and dress for the occasion.
Weather,
yeah. You have to be prepared for every eventuality.
Yeah.
We do, for wet weather, we always have wet weather options for photographs,
Right.
so that we bring our studio lights with us, so we are prepared for lots of different things. So if we're not able to take pictures outside, we can do them inside as well.
That's beautiful. This is in London as well, that
Yeah.
photograph that's just passed.
Town Hall at Islington.
Beautiful.
Lovely panelled room
Yeah.
to get married, and
Gorgeous.
just lent itself so lovely
Very
to different
romantic
photos.
setting.
Yeah, hailing a black cab,
Yeah.
which we all bundled into.
So beautiful, the way the bride's sort of hailing a black cab with a bouquet.
And then this
So
was
it's
in Hyde Park. Yeah.
Gorgeous, with the daffodils.
Yeah, we couldn't work out whether to take pictures of the bride and groom or all the squirrels that kept coming over, thinking they were going to be fed.
Oh, that's beautiful. Dibs, thank you so much
That's
for
no
allowing us
problem,
into
my
the studio
pleasure.
and showing us some of your photographs. And hopefully, if there's any more brides or people getting engaged or whatever that want photographs, they head this way to Studio Bushfire. And,
Yeah, we look forward to welcoming them.
Thank you, Dibs.
No problem.
Thanks. Okay, so thank you again to Dibs and her husband Carl for allowing us into bushfire photography. I'm sure that you've seen some fantastic photographs in the background, but you'll be welcome to come in and have a chat with Dibs, Carl or Zoe or Joe, and they'll tell you more about what they can offer you as a service for your weddings or engagements, or if indeed you just want a family portrait done or something like that. And you also do portraits for cats and dogs and animals as well, don't you? So if you've got any family pets that you want photographed, head on into Studio Bushfire in Hamilton Road. Thank you for now. Bye.